Maybe I'm crazy, but I am the quarterback whisperer. I'm responsible for a lot of successful careers, young quarterbacks in the league right now. Take credit for it.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.
Welcome to Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Daniel Jones, 2-0. Who'd thunk it? You know, me. But we'll get to that later. Jerry Rice, the GOAT, joins us this week. He is awesome. He has coined a new catchphrase that will lead to some illustrations that the podcast will put out. I'm sure you'll recognize it right away when you hear it. But he's kind enough to join us and talk about a lot of the wide receivers around the NFL. He was there with Larry Fitzgerald. The Browns, the NCAA versus the state of California. California's greatest place on earth. Daniel Jones, as I mentioned, the Redskins, the Chiefs, Lions, Steelers, the Bungles. Vontaze Burfict is out of the league, at least temporarily. The Rams cannot get their running game going. We'll talk about the Cowboys, and there's a lot of things to review and preview in the Culture Report this week. And we'll talk a lot about mustaches later as well, which is a great tease. But let's get started. Why did you do that? With
I got a mustache.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So does every other man in this room.
I know, it's a real rare room of mustaches.
Get started with Jerry Rice. So Jerry Rice, the GOAT, is joining us on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Thank you so much for coming on with us, Jerry. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor. So obviously you are widely considered to be the greatest wide receiver of all time. I certainly consider you to be the greatest wide receiver of all time. There's some pretty good receivers in the league right now. One of them is Odell. And kind of the book on Odell lately is that you kind of talk a little trash to him and rough him up a little bit, and you'll get him off his game. He was choked in the game this weekend, which was kind of crazy. But were you a big trash talker?
No, not at all. I just played the game, and but I had opposing defensive backs. They would try to get me out of my game. They're gonna try to push some buttons and do all that, but you got to stay focused and not get involved. And I had one of the greatest coaches because he was one of those guys that wouldn't tolerate that. So you got to be able to channel your emotions and stuff like that and just stay in the game.
Was there anyone who was always able to get you off your game?
No, if someone tried, the best way to shut them up is to score a touchdown on them. Then you score another touchdown. Then you score another touchdown. Then eventually, they're going to stop trying.
So it's safe to say that no one has ever tried to choke you.
Oh, no. That would not happen. And the thing, too, is that I had this big offensive line, and if anybody tried to do anything like that, I would let the big boys handle that situation.
That's very smart. So the top three receivers in the league to me right now are Odell, DeAndre Hopkins, and Julio Jones. Would you agree with that?
In that number, yeah, I'll agree with you. I like that.
You had a pretty good moment with Larry Fitzgerald this weekend, and he's most people consider him to be one of the all-time greats. He's an obvious Hall of Famer, and he's just really well respected around the league in general. Where do you put him in the all-time ranks as a wide receiver?
Well, I don't think Larry he doesn't like this, but he's number 2 right now.
Really?
Yeah, because when you look at his yardage and also his receptions and stuff like that, I think he's number 2. And what he brings to the game and, his route running, his catching ability, and his mentorship, passing the knowledge on to players and stuff like that. I think he's a perfect ambassador for the NFL.
You had a moment with him this weekend. Was something that you said to him after his big passing of Tony Gonzalez?
No, it's just something. What he said to me, he said, "You don't celebrate being second." Those exact words. So you can tell that this guy is a competitor, and it was an honor for me to see him break Tony Gonzalez. Record and stuff like that, to move into that second spot, and to just be on the field with him and to witness that.
Well, if you're not first, you're last, but being second all time to Jerry Rice is no small thing. So I would take that any day as a player. So you got to see Kyler Murray then. What do you make of him, the #1 overall pick?
I think, they got to give Kyler Murray, well, they had to give him more time. There was a lot of pressure on him. He had to, move out of the pocket. He showed his running ability. They really didn't have time to throw the ball deep downfield. They only threw, like little short routes. And like I said, it was just great to see Larry Fitzgerald. But also you got to think about this, is that Kyler Murray is going to go down in history because he was a quarterback that threw him those passes.
Right. Absolutely. And what a way to come into the league with a guy like Larry Fitzgerald. Do you think we rush through it too much with these young quarterbacks? Like we expect too much of them right away? We're not patient enough?
You know what? That could be, but, I think the head coach, they feel like he's ready to go. So, he's out there on the football field. Yeah, he's going to have some ups. He's going to have some downs, and he's going to learn a lot. But when you got great players around you, like a Larry Fitzgerald or something like that, he's going to learn a lot really fast.
I mean, I'm with the coach in that spot. I think if you're the #1 overall pick or you're really a top 10 draft pick at the quarterback position, you should be starting right away. If nothing else, because you've used that pick on that valuable pick on that position, and I just don't think you get better at playing football by watching someone else play football.
Yeah, but, a lot of organizations, they like to try to slowly bring those guys along. But, I think with Arizona, they feel like this guy is capable of doing it right now, and he's only going to get better by being on the football field.
So the Raiders got a nice win over the Colts. Do you think that Gruden can get them back into the Super Bowl conversation?
It's just one game. You can't look that far down the road.
Well, not for this season. I'm sorry, not for this season. Just in general, like over the next couple years, because he has a lot of expectations.
Yeah, it depends on the draft, and it really hurt them to get rid of Khalil Mack. Then also with Antonio Brown, what happened there. So it's going to happen during the draft, and they have to keep adding on, to that team.
So I was kind of a doubter of the 49ers this year. They look pretty good. Are they for real?
It's still early. They're 3-0 right now, but, there's a lot of mistakes, and they're going to have to clean those mistakes up. And, Jimmy G is getting back into, football, because last year the injury, that was a devastating loss for the San Francisco 49ers. So, after coming off an injury like that, it's going to take some time for him. They got good playmakers on offense, and where he doesn't feel like he has to win football games on his own. Then that defense is playing outstanding right now. And last year they had 1 interception. They got about 7 interceptions this year. So it's still game by game. Don't feel like you have arrived yet, and just continue to work and get better.
Well, a team that certainly thought they had arrived before the season is the Browns, and they play them on Monday. So what do you think of the Browns, and particularly Baker Mayfield?
Well, they got to win, so it's like, I'm sure it's going to be Monday Night Football, and I'm sure Mayfield is going to, he's going to bring his game. The receivers for the Cleveland Browns, these guys can make plays. Odell, I'm sure he's going to be raring to go. And same thing for the San Francisco 49ers. They have an opportunity to do something special on Monday night, and they can go 4-0. So it should be a good football game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What quarterback would you want throwing to you in the league right now?
With quarterback, there's a number of quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and the list goes on and on.
It's interesting you mentioned Russell Wilson, because I think that Russell Wilson is one of the most, I think, underappreciated or just overall like disrespected quarterback in the league. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and what he's been able to do is really incredible, but he never gets mentioned in the list of guys that you just mentioned.
Oh, I don't think that's true. I think everyone in Seattle knows that their chances of winning is with Russell Wilson. And, he's a great leader. He can make every throw. He can get outside the pocket and still focus downfield where he could deliver the football. So, I'm sure. And I had the opportunity Sunday to catch a pass from this guy. And we were just talking on the field, and he said, I always wanted to throw you a pass, and this was like a highlight, for me and stuff like that. And I said the same thing to him.
That's pretty awesome for anyone to be able to throw you a pass. So you're the GOAT of wide receivers. Does it bother you when people say that you're the GOAT, or you're cool with that?
It feels a little weird. There are so many different GOATs, though, in all different professions. So it's great that they say that, but I just played the game for the love of the game. For one thing, I wanted to win championships. I never wanted to let the fans down here in San Francisco. I never wanted to let the coaches down. And I never wanted to let my family down back home. So, yeah, it feels a little weird, but it's okay.
Do you think that there's an overall GOAT in the league? Like, do you think that's safe to say, like, that there's one greatest player of all time?
I'm building like a fraternity of GOATs. That's my main focus. You look at all the different professions and stuff like that. From hockey to basketball to baseball to football, stuff like that. You're gonna have athletes that are like GOATs, but then you got people in other occupations too, like a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a teacher. Those people are GOATs too.
But do you think that Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time?
I would say Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Well, that's understandable.
It's a different era. You got to look at, football now, and you got to look at football from back in the day. Football is totally different now. And Tom Brady, what he's doing is amazing and all of that, but, it was a different era.
So tell us why you are partnering with Rice and Pastoroni.
Well, Rice-A-Roni, we both are San Francisco treats. I have partnered with Rice-A-Roni, but I'm thinking about changing my name to Jerry Rice Pastoroni.
Jerry Rice Pastoroni.
Yeah, check that out. Can you imagine that being on a uniform? But with tailgating and with football in full force right now, it was easy for me to run that perfect route or make that winning touchdown. But what I like about Rice-A-Roni is that they have a variety. My favorite is the jalapeno cheddar. But you also got the chicken, you got the red beans and rice, you have the angel hair pasta with herbs and all of that. You can go to goteamrice.com for more information.
I am actually a huge Rice-A-Roni fan, and red beans and rice is actually my favorite. I love rice in general. I don't know. That's Jerry Rice and rice, but I'm actually being serious. I really love rice. I had it last night. But you can visit the YouTube series featuring Jerry Rice. Visit the Rice-A-Roni YouTube page, and you go to goteamrice.com for more information. Have you been to a lot of tailgates?
Yeah, it's pretty cool because it's all about family, friends, and fun and food.
I agree.
We call them the 3 4s.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jerry. We really appreciate it. It's an honor to be able to talk to you. And make sure you check out goteamrice.com for prizes and official game rules and more information on Rice-A-Roni. Thanks so much, Jerry.
Have a good day. All right. Take care.
With it. With it. Quit.
What?
With it. We about to turn up in this bitch.
All right. Thanks to Jerry Rice for joining us. That was great. Heller, what am I winning or quitting today?
Hey. With the Browns' surprising 40-25 win in Baltimore on Sunday, Baker Mayfield now has won as many games as he's lost in the NFL. Cleveland's new LeBron also has an equal number of haters as he does fans. The haters were louder this week, and it seemed to get Baker feeling dangerous. Joy, Baker Mayfield is motivated by the hatred. With it or quit. quit it.
Very eloquently written by you, Heller.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and he didn't stumble.
A little bit at the end, but
That's all right. We won't recognize that one. I'm going to wit it, and I'm okay with it. I know some people get into this territory of like you're a quarterback and you're supposed to be above everything, and I don't think that's the case with Baker, and I just don't think it's the case with, in general, anyone who is in the public eye these days and has to deal with social media. It's a different world. So this idea that everyone is just supposed to ignore every criticism that's passed their way, eventually, unless you really are that guy and you really believe in operating that way, or girl, then say what you want. If somebody's going to call you out and say that you're overrated and that you're slow, then you can say what you want. Like Baker responded to Rex Ryan, who I thought was, while he could have made some points more eloquently, like, for example, Baker does run the opposite way a lot and then try to throw off his back foot, which is not ideal. And he's not faster than Aaron Donald. That's facts. So I don't think you should be offended by that. But had Rex Ryan said it in that fashion, as opposed to saying he's overrated and he's slow, then, you know, Baker wouldn't have responded the way he did, which was saying, you know, Rex Ryan doesn't if you don't wear orange and brown, then you don't matter, which is true. And Rex doesn't have any colors right now, which is also true. But Rex had a more successful career in the NFL than you have up until this point, if we're just going to be frank about that. It's facts. I think Baker will eventually have more success than Rex Ryan did in the NFL. But as of right now, as we stand right now, that is a fact. So I'm okay with responding to him. That's fine with that. And Baker has always been a chip on the shoulder guy. And the Browns, Cleveland is so that. It's like everyone, like what is that stupid shirt? Cleveland versus everyone? No, it's Cleveland versus yourselves, okay? Nobody is concerned about Cleveland. I assure you of that. No one loses sleep over Cleveland. So Cleveland versus everyone, who, like, congrats to everyone in Cleveland wearing that shirt. It's just not reality. The point is, Baker fits that perfectly. And I'm okay with that because that's who he is, and I think you should be authentic. And I also think that there are levels to this pettiness, which is really what it is. And obviously, I'm a big fan of petty. That's how I live my life. But I think that there's ways to perfect it so that it becomes less like a reaction to a critic and more of bulletin board, which is what the Patriots, Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and other GOATs like Michael Jordan have figured out how to eloquently do. Kobe as well is one of those guys that if you say something about him, they're just going to use it as tackling fuel. And that's what they do. Somehow, every single year, even if the Patriots win the Super Bowl, they find some way to find some random quote that they twist and turn into being a criticism of them. And then they channel it as this mantra for the year. Like, we're doubted. People don't believe in us. Like, yeah, you only have 6 championships, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and you won a Super Bowl last year. But sure, everyone's coming for you, New England. It's not the case. But somehow they trick themselves into thinking that. And then somehow they trick us into thinking that. And then we start talking about the end of Tom Brady, and then we give them the tackling fuel that they want. It's the biggest mind game ever. We all play it every single year. But that's because they operate on a higher level. They've mastered it. And Baker's just in the beginning steps of this. So that's why I'm not mad about it. I do think he's motivated by stuff like Rex Ryan and Colin and critics. And I just think that he gets, over time, he'll get a little more refined with it. Because, look, once you start winning and then people are critical of you while you're winning, you can very easily channel that into what you need to create that chip on your shoulder. And that's why the Patriots are so good at it. Because they win every single year. But somehow they still find a way to convince themselves that they have haters that don't think they're good, which is not the case. They just hate because you are good, but they find a way to twist it to say that they hate because they aren't good. Like, for example, this week, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were talking about the Bills on the highest level all week. Bill Belichick is so good at this. He's the master at it. Oh, well, yeah, Buffalo, you know, it's going to be a real tough environment going up into Buffalo. I'm doing a terrible impression right now, but this is what in my mind, this is what he sounds like.
I wasn't bad.
No?
Yeah, keep going.
I need to be more still. I'm going to Buffalo. You know, they're going to have a really tough environment. You know, the fans come. It's their only agenda is to make noise. They're very dedicated fans. We're going to have to put in a lot of work. We're going to have to be perfect on all 3 aspects of the game to win it. Yeah, except for Tom Brady has the 4th most wins in Buffalo of all time. He doesn't play for Buffalo. So no, that's not true at all. Tom Brady owns the Buffalo Bills.
31-3, I believe, is his record against the Bills.
Owns is what it should say. In parentheses, 3. Okay, 3 mistakes. All right, probably not his fault. All right, like that's what it should say. So no, what Bill Belichick is saying is true. Bills Mafia is awesome, and they're very loud, and it's a really tough environment for everyone except for Tom Brady and the Patriots. And then somehow some offensive lineman was convinced that like, yeah. And then he said something ridiculous, which is, we've got Josh. I know they have Tom Brady, but we've got Josh Allen. Which no one's ever said ever, except for him. No one in the Bills organization has ever said, yeah, they have Tom Brady, but we've got Josh Allen. Except for him. Because so Belichick has saying this all week, and then he says it so much, it's infiltrated your brain, and then you start thinking like, yeah, they do it. They are pretty good. They do have Josh Allen. Nope. Take the L. They're the masters at it. Baker will get there. Just give it time. Don't be so critical of it. There are levels to this, and he's just starting out. One day he's going to be very, very good at it, and he is going to be up there convincing you, while he's won all these games, that you're still coming for him, and it's not going to be the case. And then you're going to be saying, they've got Baker Mayfield, but we've got Andy Dalton or whatever.
Your boy, Andy Dalton.
No, Josh Allen's way better. That's disrespectful to Josh Allen, actually. All right, what's next?
Okay, big story here. Gavin Newsom, the great governor of the state of California, signed Senate Bill 206, which makes it illegal, starting in 2023, for the NCAA to prevent any in-state athlete from profiting off their name, image, or likeness. Per usual, Joy, California fixed it. I mean, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. Joy, this bill spells the end for the NCAA. Wit it or quit it.
Quit it. Emphatically quit it. I would like for everyone to stop.
You don't want to mess with California now.
No, look, no. You asked if it was the end of the NCAA. It's not the end of the NCAA at all. Not even close. Not even a little bit. Everyone's panicking and freaking out, as they always do when something changes or when California does anything. Oh my God, California, they don't want to use plastic bags anymore. How are we going to carry our groceries home?
Reusables.
Oh my God, you guys recycle? How do you have time in your day? They do it with everything that California does.
The weather's always nice, so there's
really
plenty of time.
not that dramatic. Everyone needs to calm down. College football is not over. There's still going to be March Madness. You're still going to fill out your bracket. That's going to break instantly. You're never going to win that $1 million, but it's fun. Women are not going to go extinct, okay? What's going to happen to water polo? It's still going to exist. It's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Whatever booster loves water polo is just going to give the best water polo player
It can't be that much.
a billboard to sell his air conditioning. Okay, whatever it is, that's how it's going to work. I hope I just explained it for you. None of those things are true, okay? None of them make any sense. Everyone needs to stop worrying about it. The NCAA is going nowhere. That I can assure you of. It's a $1 billion industry.
NCAA sucks, Joy.
Look, the NCAA is freaking out because they want absolute control. And that's just the facts of it. Because while everyone is screaming and hollering about how amateurism is dead, the schools are not paying the players. That's not what this means. What does this mean? Okay, it means if you have a YouTube channel, you can make money off of it. It means that the star basketball player can sign a year early with Nike, which, by the way, if you don't think that the basketball shoe contracts aren't starting at grassroots basketball and the big shoe companies are not down there with like 12-year-olds having conversations about their contracts, you're living under a giant entitlement chocolate-flavored cloud, and you need to shrink it and join the rest of reality, because that's really very obvious, okay? It should not even be allowed to be that ignorant to the process of all of this while screaming and hollering about how something is wrong. Do some research. Stop worrying about the kids bouncing ball from your neighbor ruining your lawn. It's really not that deep. I'm gonna break this down for you, okay? It means that the local Iowa running back, when this gets passed in other states, which it will, because there's no way the SEC is going to allow California to steal all the recruits.
Got to do something. Pac-12 is terrible.
So it's true. So it's already happening. It just means the local Iowa running back can do a commercial to sell a few cars. That's what it means. Is it going to be fair to everyone? No. Guess what else? Nothing in life is fair. Whoever told you that is lying to you. I'm sure it's your wonderful mother or your sweet grandma or, your nice neighbor.
They probably told you about Santa Claus too.
Or your son. Stop it. Your Sunday school teacher or something like that. But they're living in a pleasant euphoria that most people require an excessive amount of narcotics to reach. Nothing is fair. Okay. And that's what it is. Big schools are going to have an advantage. No shit. Big schools already have an advantage. Let me read some things for you. Okay. In the past 3 years in football recruiting, there have been 97 players ranked as 5-star recruits by Rivals.com, which is a rating service. 5 schools, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State, and LSU, big schools, right? Signed a combined 55 of those 97 5-star recruits. So the math on that is 42 of the 97 5-star recruits in the country are left for the remaining 125 FBS schools. So 5 schools got nearly 57% of the best players. That's without this monster bill from California affecting the entire NCAA. Where will the fairness and competition go? Exactly where it already is, because it doesn't exist. So shut up. It's not going to change anything when it comes to the fairness. If anything, it's going to equal play, because there are very rich people that have gone to other schools than those 5 schools. And they have businesses in those cities. They live there. They like that small town where they live, where they have very low cost of living and they can build a mansion 10 acres wide, all right? And they love football because there's nothing else to do there. So they want to pay a couple of the guys to do some advertisements for them. Who cares? And so guess what? Maybe they hate football and they want to give the swimming team some money. It's just how it works. Everyone just calm down. Everyone's freaking out because they think is going to end amateurism. When I give you the Olympics, for an example.
The Olympics, you say?
The Olympics. Remember the Olympics? Do it every 4 years.
Well, 2 if you count winter, but blah.
Well, okay, we do. We do count winter. People like snowboarding. I've never tried it. Not interested. But in the 80s, the IOC tried to get rid of the amateurism rules. Guess what wouldn't exist if they hadn't fixed the rules on that? Dream Team. Pretty popular enterprise. They still sell things for the Dream Team. Like, made the Olympics pretty interesting that year. Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps. Like, they're able to make money off of endorsements. They're ultra rich and they still participate in the Olympics because it doesn't affect the Olympics whatsoever. And guess what? Olympics still make a ton of money. So while I know everyone is freaking out about kids making money because they have no control over it anymore and they don't get to say you can't post that, you know, Fashion Nova outfit on your Instagram page and get paid for it because I want a cut of that. I'm the one who gave you your platform. Yeah, except for Zion Williamson had like 1.7 million followers.
Yeah, he's his own platform.
Okay, but everyone has a platform now. And this is my whole point. Get with the times. This is not about taking down the NCAA. This is not about eliminating amateurism. This is not about eliminating women's sports. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has everything to do with the fact that the internet exists now and social media exists now, and you can't control people selling their image on their platform, which you did nothing to create. So how exactly are you going to quantify the amount of followers that someone has before they come to your school? And then how are you going to explain, well, the only reason you have more followers is because you come to our school? Or maybe it's better lighting, honey. You don't know. There's no way to quantify that. So you can't control how someone makes money on their private pages, YouTube pages, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is. It doesn't come out of the school's pocket. They're still going to make billions of dollars. If anything, maybe it'll just elevate your platform more. It'll get more people interested in these players who are then going to perform on your platform, who are then going to like your platform more.
And you can charge even more for the nameless jersey with their number on it that everyone knows is theirs, you know?
You're still going to make money. Other people are just going to make money too. We're all going to make money. Is this America? Right? Am I right? It's America. I had a better out, but like, I mean, I feel like I just squashed that. Hear ye, hear ye. Gardner Minshew haters are petty. I am not one of them. I am a fan of Minshew Mania, the marvelous Minshew. There's so many M words, by the way, that can be used to describe Minshew's Minshew Magic, right, is one of them, right? There's so many good ones. But Minshew's 2-1 as a starter. He was 19 of 33 for 213 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Broncos, who are inexplicably awful this year. They can't get it together. Leonard Fournette did have a career high day, though, at 29 carries for 225 yards, including an 80-yard run. And obviously, Minshew led an awesome drive at the end of the game. 8-play, 60-yard drive downfield, which was obviously helped by a Broncos roughing the passer call earlier in the drive. But no one cares about that because they won. They kicked the field goal with 4 seconds to play to win 26-24 over the Broncos. And I'm all aboard with Minshew Mania. People are doubting him, obviously, because he wears jorts, which, you know, is fair. If you wear jorts, people probably should be a little skeptical of you. Yeah, there they are.
You can make your own, though.
I also think that, okay, so here's the thing about the look, right? Which I'm all here for, right? Like I like Minshew. I hope he's successful, and I actually think he is actually pretty good. And weirdly, like I like rooting for Jacksonville because I usually can't stand Jacksonville, and I'm so glad they've moved off Blake Bortles. And I was actually that's not even true because I was rooting for Jacksonville anyway this year because I wanted Nick Foles to dominate to prove everyone wrong. So I'm even more for Gardner Minshew for that fact. But the sunglasses on the head at nighttime don't make sense to me because just wear them because you already have a headband, so your hair is not coming down. If we're breaking down the look, this I'm cool with. Those I'm not. That's way too much man thigh for me. But it's his swag, and it's why he's legendary, and it's why Gardner Minshew fits him perfectly. And I love that they also show his super yoked dad every time. He's so jacked. He's so jacked. What does he do? He said he runs marathons. Shouldn't it make you skinny?
He takes breaks from lifting to run marathons.
I mean, well, yeah. He did say his dad can lift a lot more weight than him, which makes sense because he's like this. But anyway, they're a fun little family, and I've decided, because I was talking about this with Colin, because Colin is not on board with Gardner Minshew. He's not on board with the marvelous Minshew. And I was trying to figure out why, and I think I've determined that he doesn't like mustaches that much. And then we kind of broke it down a little further, and it's like that's not true because he likes Jeff Fisher, who has an all-time mustache, which we'll get to in a second, and he likes Andy Reid, who we all know is famous for his mustache. Only. That's the only thing he's famous
Basically is a mustache.
Right. But he doesn't like his mustache. And he doesn't like Baker's mustache,
like
to which I determined through my dutiful research of Colin as my co-host, trying to figure him out, and get to the bottom line of like what is the issue with Minshew and Baker, and it's because Minshew and Baker they're young men, right? So there's not really a huge commitment to the mustache look yet. Like they could lose it and continue their lives without mustaches, and we wouldn't think of them for their mustaches. And that's what Colin doesn't like. He's into commitment and consistency. Yeah. And Andy Reid and Jeff Fisher have committed to those mustaches for the rest of their lives. Imagine Jeff Fisher and Andy Reid without mustaches. It's terrifying. It's a terrifying thought. That's a look you commit to for your entire life. Now, I've never had a mustache. You get a little hair here or there. You got to pick it, if we're going to be honest. But a full-on mustache is something I've never understood. How do you keep the food out?
Well,
doesn't it tickle your bottom lip?
Well, see, Andy's doing a thing
Does it ever
where
sweat?
He's not trimming it. You got to trim it to expose. Like, how's he going to kiss his wife when his top lip is blocked by hair?
Bottom lip kissing. But that's a look, right? So of course, anytime we're going to talk about mustaches, we have the grand opportunity to review the best mustaches in sports, which is super fun. So let's start with Pat Riley, who has a very 80s porn look mustache going on here. It's very well kept. You've got the hair, the coif, if you will. And Pat Riley is the swaggiest of all swagginess. He's the godfather of swag. And he continues that to this day. Great teeth, by the way. Anyway, so that's a really strong mustache, Pat Riley. Mike D'Antoni, who decommitted from the mustache recently, but now looking at it, could have easily been shaved. It's there, but like it's not overgrown ever. There's one or two little hairs there that he missed, but like in general, a look that he could lose and still survive, and clearly has.
He had it for a while though, and when he was younger and it was browner, he had a real Pringles man looking.
No, yeah, I can see that. It's a shape. Yeah. It's a shape. Andy Reid, obviously, I mean, this is his look for all eternity.
Woof.
We love Andy Reid. I actually like it. I think it fits him. I think it fits his persona. And in general, it just goes with his whole look. With the glasses, it's a good mustache. Please don't ever take it off. We don't just keep it forever.
This way, he doesn't exclusively look like the Kool-Aid man.
You know what? I'm against those memes. I don't agree with those. Jeff Fisher, shut up. Jeff Fisher, obviously, very, very strong mustache. We know that it's strong because it's thick in front. So it's been growing for a very, very long time. It has been trained, if you will. That's how that mustache works. Fully on with his look, by the way, as well. Phil Jackson has a very famous mustache. I mean, that is just, it's just strong. You're right. Donnie said strong and strong. That's strong. That's a winning mustache is what that is. Don Mattingly, a famous mustache. There you go. Very handsome man, New York Yankee. And then obviously, very notoriously, the Yankees don't believe in facial hair anymore. So that makes it even more
that adds to the legend
of the legend of Don Mattingly's mustache. Mark Spitz, swimmers don't believe in hair anymore. So imagine how fast he'd be if he didn't have that mustache.
Yeah, he's got to get a wave cap for the.
I mean, you cannot have a mustache. All that armpit hair, all that's got to go. It all slows you down, Mark. Randy Johnson, bird killer.
Yeah, he was.
he has a strong look to begin with.
Kind of looks like a bird too.
He is all right. That's enough out of you. He's an intimidating guy to begin with, but that mustache, he's kind of almost has a little bit of a like a Harley guy look, like a biker dude. So that's a strong mustache. I like that mustache. Dale Earnhardt, obviously, great mustache. Very well kept, just like his hair. You know, it's just like every hair is where it's supposed to be, kind of aligned. R.I.P. to the legend. Hulk Hogan. Now, this is an interesting mustache because it kind of also grows into, like, it has the handlebar things. And again, another face you could not imagine without facial hair. It's unimaginable to see Hulk Hogan without this mustache, right?
That one looks like you can peel it off.
Yeah, because we actually have these available for purchase at any Halloween store on Earth. This full costume is available with the peel off. Yeah, and it is because it's so, again, it's trained. So it's been growing that way for forever, which is pretty remarkable because who grows that much hair on that part of your face? Is it fake?
You think he's a natural blonde?
Oh, my God. Have you seen his family? Yes. Natural blonde all the way. Mike Ditka. I mean, what do you even say about that?
I respect you.
Again,
Mike Ditka.
very easy Halloween costume because it's such a strong look. Ditka is one of my all-time favorites and one of my all-time favorite actors. Kicking and Screaming is one of the greatest cinematic performances of all time. Don't at me. Larry Bird. Now... Larry Legend! I don't even want to say anything about it because it's so good. It's so good. The whole thing is amazing. And my favorite thing about Larry Legend is that he is the biggest talker in the history of the NBA. Notorious for talking the most and there's nothing you can do about it, which is why everyone respects Larry to the highest level. Because if you look at this guy, I mean, look at this guy. He looks like he buys oranges at his local produce stand.
Looks like he's about to get taken to the rack. Bad.
And he bangs it in your face with no remorse and then reminds you about it for the next 3 years of your existence in the NBA. Patrick Ewing, great mustache, great look. Doesn't get enough respect for just being a legend in the game in general. But that's a really strong mustache. All right. So these last two, okay. So we got to talk about Adam Morrison for a second. Because it's that.
Yes. Peach fuzz. Let's go. We've all been there, dudes. Every dude in here was there until they shaved.
Everyone is shaking their heads. So you live like this? You left the house like that? That's what you do?
Proudly. When I was like 18, yeah.
John Hill, everyone is shaking their heads?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not acceptable. Like
the point is that that's what happens until a friend or a parent goes, "Hey, it's time to get your first razor and shave that thing."
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then appropriate that it's in this list.
He didn't have good enough friends or parents, clearly.
Finally, Raleigh Fingers, obviously the goat of all mustaches. Everyone knows this mustache, and he's the original hipster. And this seems like a whole lot of work. Or, probably he just used some spit or some wax or some
put some wax on
pine tar. Just twisted the ends up. But anyway, that was fun. A little trip down Moustache Lane. And I think I solved it. I really think I figured it out with Colin. Like he respects consistency, and an easily shaved mustache and reversible look is not what he believes in. So there we go. That's the I need one more M word. That is the miracle of Minshew. There's so many.
Hey.
There's so many. So high key, Daniel Jones is 2-0 as a starter. I'm going to take full credit for that. Thank you, and you're welcome, New York Giants. Low key, please don't fire Jay Gruden in the middle of the season. The Giants put up 24 on the lowly Washington Redskins, the Washington R words. And I was right about Daniel Jones, and they have the Vikings at home this week. So he could go 3-0 as a starter because Kirk Cousins does not know how to play quarterback in the NFL anymore. What he is, and I know everyone's very upset about this, but some things are just true. He's great at making money. He's great at taking money from you, NFL teams. And you can be mad at it, or you can just recognize, as I said years ago, I was hip to this move. I warned you, Kirk Cousins, really good at making money. Like Sam Bradford, excellent at making a whole lot of money for not being good at quarterback. And it's a hustle, and you got hustled. And you have to pay a lot of money to a really mediocre quarterback. That said, they'll probably beat the Vikings at home. The Giants will this week. Dwayne Haskins got a little showing, even though he was completely thrown to the Wolves, which is why, I don't know, start the rookie, get him out there. You're already 0-4, except for now you're 0-4, and he has had no experience. So congrats on losing all those games for no reason. And now everyone's talking about firing Jay Gruden. So they play the Patriots next week, and that's going to be ugly. And then they play Miami at Miami, which, I mean, very well could be a very competitive game. It's the battle of the losers, and one of them has to win, or they could both tie and ruin our lives. But the point is, don't fire Jay Gruden, all right? Like, it's going to solve absolutely nothing. You drafted Dwayne Haskins. Give him a head coach. Let him develop. You're going to be terrible this year anyway, so what's the point? What is the benefit of firing him in the middle of the season? I know that it's Snyder, and everything I'm saying is really irrelevant because he's going to do whatever the hell he wants, as he always does. But I never understand firing a coach in the middle of the season when you have a young or rookie quarterback. The whole point is to give him stability and help him develop. Like, I didn't understand firing Hugh Jackson. What was the point of that? Now, it's worked out for Baker so far, sort of, but don't fire Jay Gruden. It's a mistake. High-key, the Chiefs are the best team in the league. Low-key, the Lions aren't terrible. Maybe. We'll get to Donnie in a second. Patrick Mahomes threw for no touchdowns and still made the play running, and then he set them up for the winning touchdown. He's not one of us. Like, there's certain people who are just like Beyonce. Patrick Mahomes is like Beyonce. They're just not one of us, you know? You know what I mean. You're not Patrick Mahomes. And then the Lions are actually impressing me this year. So Donnie is our resident Lions fan. They actually exist. And he's from Detroit, so that's why. I love Detroit. I've spent a lot of time there. My grandparents were from Detroit, so I was there a lot growing up. Love Detroit. But the Lions are never given enough credit for what a disaster they are as an organization. You love the Lions.
I do.
I'm sorry about that.
The Lions are my favorite sports team.
Favorite sports team?
Yeah, but
God, what a life, Donnie.
it hurts. And because of that, I am super cautious about this always.
But they look good.
They do. They usually do. This feels...
So this is the trick?
This is familiar. It's like if you're watching Law & Order, you know how the story's going to
Law &
end.
Order SVU?
Or regular Law & Order.
I don't
it doesn't
watch
really matter.
regular
okay?
Law & Order. I
So
have time for that.
Law & Order SVU, you know the obvious bad guy, the
Right.
guy who obviously did it, he didn't do it.
Right.
That's what this is like. Or if you're watching Maury, even better, the sexy decoy. This is the guy falling for the sexy decoy. I will not be the guy falling for the sexy decoy. I've seen this story
What
before.
if she's like super sexy though?
No. I've seen this story before.
You've seen that receiving core? They're really good.
No. I've seen this story before. Not doing it.
They're honeypotting you?
They're honeypotting me and not doing it.
Well, I'm not gonna fall for it because I don't care about the Lions. But I do think that they look good though. Like I think he deserves some credit. Patricia deserves some credit, and that's hard for me because he has the pencil with the laminated thing, you know. But
Yeah, makes no sense.
no, it's honeypotting. All right. Well, I try. I gave them some credit. We'll see what happens next week. So high key, the Steelers are still in the division race. Low key, what is the point of Andy Dalton? I mean, why? What is the point of Andy Dalton? I understand he was literally attacked yesterday because the offensive line did nothing and the Steelers defense was actually good. Mason Rudolph, 24 of 28, 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. If you didn't watch the game, that's an incredible stat line for Mason Rudolph. If you watched the game, you knew he threw 3-yard passes. The passing chart for Mason Rudolph is hysterical. It's like he did not throw anything down the field. It's low-key embarrassing. But I'm okay with it because you need to get him some rhythm. You need to give him some confidence. The Bengals, ultimate slump buster. So I love this for Mason Rudolph and the Steelers. That said, they have the Ravens at home next week, and I think the Ravens are going to absolutely demolish them. It just smells like that. Obviously, I love the Steelers, but I'm not very high on them this year. I'm not predicting a division win anymore, although they still are technically in the race. But yeah, I mean, good win for the Steelers. I liked everything that I saw, except for maybe throw it just a little bit further down the field. You're not going to beat the Ravens like that, so we'll see what they do next week. That said, please don't make us suffer through another year of Andy Dalton Bengals. Please. Why? What more do you need to see from Andy Dalton? What is it? What am I missing here? What am I missing? Am I crazy? Like, How many years have we had to endure this?
It's dope that his hair matches their colors, though. I do like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's why.
Is that what it is? It's not that hard to like move on. It's really at this point it's passed into the realm of bizarre what's happening with Andy Dalton. So I'm done with that. I really feel like it's sad. Like you got AJ Green on the sideline, and I understand he's injured, but he's so good.
Rushing back.
The Bengals, no. Well, for what? Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll stay right here and watch this from afar. Loser power rankings. These are the losers of the week. All right, time for losers. Vontaze Burfict, huge loser. Suspended for the season for helmet hit on Colts tight end Jack Doyle. You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt there. And I don't want to hear about, like, football's soft now. It's not that hard to not hit him in the head with your helmet. Pretty obvious. And obvious that you're going to get kicked out and fined and suspended because you're Vontaze Burfict, and that's what you do. So when you have that reputation, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't a dirty hit. I don't have any problem with them suspending him for the rest of the season because whatever. Like I'm not for like turning this into a flag football league like everyone's freaking out saying it's going to become, as I'll get to in a moment. But this was obvious and an easy decision for the NFL because it's been over this a million times. Like eventually you got to put your foot down with this stuff with him. And they did, and I know he's going to appeal it. I don't think a decision has come back yet, but he's not going to win, and nor should he. Like, just whatever. Good riddance. That said, there were a couple other hits around the league this week that people are trying to compare to the Vontaze Burfict hits. Not quite so. For example, Josh Allen. Look, it's not pretty, okay? And he's in concussion protocol now. He probably won't play this week, and you got to slide. You got to slide or you got to get rid of the ball. And that's just the facts. And the reason I know it's a fact is because Tom Brady and Bill Belichick said it. And while I don't always agree with everything that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick said, they're right in this spot. Like Tom Brady is pretty cool about quarterbacks, and as he should be, because a lot of the rules that exist in this league are because of Tom Brady. And people are like, well, if that was a hit on Tom Brady, it gets suspended. Yeah, well, Josh Allen's not Tom Brady. I know the Bills think that, but he's not. So there are levels to this. And again, life isn't fair.
And it was flagged. There's some confusion then because then it was offsetting penalties for a holding offset the personal foul, which doesn't that math doesn't work for me necessarily. But they threw a flag on this play. I have no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not great at math. I don't know how those offsetting penalties things work either. Who does? But I don't have a problem with it. He should not have been kicked out. He should not be fined or suspended. It's football, and there's big guys moving at a very high rate of speed. He could have easily broken that tackle. So it's not like he wasn't moving. He was moving forward when he went to tackle him. It just happened that he hit him, right there.
He launched his body like a missile.
That's how you tackle. Okay. It just happens to be that your head is on top of your body, which is the space that he was in, and it got flagged. So it's fine. But it was not a dirty hit by any stretch of the imagination. And Tom Brady talked about it on WEEI and said that he had a hit in Buffalo at the beginning of his career in like 2001, where his helmet got literally knocked off like 10 yards back because he got demolished. And Belichick told him, like, if you want to have a career in this league, you better slide your ass on the ground or throw the ball, get rid of the ball. And that's like, we are critical of Cam Newton for this. We're critical of Aaron Rodgers for this. Like, you have to get rid of the ball. I'm not saying like, okay, I obviously understand he's hurt. Like, I'm sympathetic to that, but that's what you don't want to get hurt. You have to get rid of the ball, like, or you're going to get tackled like everybody else and could be bad for you. And you're the quarterback and you're just more important. So you have to protect yourself. Like, that's just how it goes. I understand the effort and like you want to win and all that stuff. Like, think long term in that spot.
Set an example of being smart also, in addition to being brave. That's all.
Yeah. And I'd rather smart every time. Also, you're very upset of this Marcus Peters. This Marcus Peters got
pure violence.
He got hit very hard, like maybe the hardest ever. But here's the problem, all right? I did a little research on this, all right? Because I knew I was right yesterday when we were discussing it. And it turns out I am right, all right? This is, again, wasn't a dirty hit. If a 338, 6'6" tall man comes running full speed at the goal line towards someone who is 6 foot, 195 pounds, it's going to look like how it looked. That's how it's going to look. It's going to look like utter, deterioration, and that's what it was, because he's 338 pounds, he's 6'6", he's running at full speed, and in order to tackle, you have to lower yourself a little bit. So at 6'6", if you lower yourself while running full speed with 338 pounds, it's going to be a hard hit.
Okay.
It's not going to be a belly bump.
How tall did you say? What was Marcus Peters'
6 foot
metrics
tall.
there? So he was 6 foot tall when he made the interception, right? And
Yeah.
then when he was running with it, right?
Right.
So he was 6 foot tall when he hit him too, right?
Yes.
So he knew that the whole time, and he still launched his 350+ pound body at his head.
It's 338. Okay.
Sorry,
Big boy's been working out.
335+.
The point is, he's at the goal line. He's about to score. What's he supposed to do? Like, stop. Like, sorry.
Nah.
I don't want to hit you.
Nah, look, you can tell he was
Not
real
the-
excited to destroy Marcus Peters. Lots of people are. You got to throw a flag if he does it, though.
You can't judge intent in that spot. And
Huh?
he's about to score a touchdown. It's football. He didn't have a choice.
He did a little...
And he's a big guy, all right? He doesn't have that body control.
Huh?
You can't look. When you slow things down, everything looks incredibly violent and on purpose. Okay.
This one looked even more
It was
violent
very
fast.
violent, but I don't think it was on purpose for him to hit his head. I think he meant to hit him, for sure, but I don't think he meant to hit his head.
I think he tried to kill him, and you should throw a flag.
No, he didn't.
He was trying to murder
It
him
just looked-
with his shoulder and his
No.
head.
It
Yeah.
it just looked dramatic because
Yep.
he's a big old man. That's a big old man.
By contrast, it was way more violent and aggressive than the Vontaze Burfict hit. Everyone was moving faster. There was more of a launch. Jack Doyle could have stood up, just like you said about Josh Allen
No,
breaking the
they're-
tackle,
they're
and
not-
Vontaze would have drilled him in the chest. There was no world where this lineman, who I still don't know his name,
Donovan
wasn't
Smith.
trying to. Yeah, he was trying to kill him.
No, he wasn't. Speaking of
murder
the
him.
Rams, Todd Gurley's they've got something going on with Todd Gurley. 2 seasons ago, he was like doing the most and got the most insane contract ever for an NFL running back. And then he disappeared in the Super Bowl, which was a disaster. And obviously they lost. And now he's had a slow start to this season. So everyone's saying it's his fault. And then, of course, everyone always blames Goff every time the Rams lose. Guess what? It's not an ideal model for winning when your quarterback has to throw 68 times. I can't even believe that's an actual stat number or that's even possible. But yeah, they made him throw 68 times. So he had 4 turnovers, which is, I mean, probably if you do the math for scale of throwing 68 times, basically like 4 games. So of course that's going to happen. But as it turns out, it might not actually be either one of their faults because according to Pro Football Focus, which is now the Bible on statistics, the Rams pass blocking grade in 2018 was 82.6. This year, 47.4.
That's a F.
That's not good. Then the Rams run blocking grade, 2018, 76.7. This year, 40. So it might be that offensive line there, buddy, that needs a little tune-up. Something's going on there. I don't think it's necessarily Todd Gurley's fault or Jared Goff's fault based off of those numbers, if that is true, which I'm assuming it is because Pro Football Focus are pretty good. Finally, the Cowboys. I've been bragging about how great they are and making fun of everyone that doubts them, so I have to put myself along with the Cowboys and the losers this week. Just for a week, though. Just for a week. They did take an L to a really good Saints team. You know, everyone was panicking about the Saints this year. I was not. I said the Saints would be good, and even after Drew Brees left, Teddy Bridgewater is a starting quarterback.
Teddy Two Gloves.
They looked good. The issue with the Cowboys, I don't think it's Kellen Moore, and I don't think it's Dak. I think it is the running game because Zeke had 35 yards on 18 attempts, basically 2 yards per carry. He did have 1 touchdown, but if you look at his numbers, against Miami, he had 19 carries for 125 yards. Okay, that's Miami. 23 carries for 112 yards against Washington, and 12 carries, 53 yards against the New York Giants. So you're going to need to get back up to those numbers. Basically, they played a better defense than those 3 teams, and they stopped Zeke. 35 yards is not going to cut it against the New Orleans Saints in their dome. That's not going to work. So they'll be back at it next week, and they're playing the Packers, but Devontae Adams probably won't play, so that's kind of an interesting game.
Yeah, but neither will Tyron Smith because Dak got him hurt on that last play.
Did not get
He
Tyron
got
Smith
him hurt. Throw the ball away, man. You just watch Teddy almost lose the game for the other team, and then you take a worse sack into your best lineman's legs.
It's not Dak's fault. It's not Dak's fault. It's not. I refute that. All right, it's time for the Culture Reports. Review or preview. We're going to preview The Joker. It comes out this Thursday, actually. I'm very excited for this movie. Joaquin Phoenix looks amazing, and it's very dark. It's getting a lot of great reviews. I believe Brandon told us that it got a 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, which is obnoxious. Who does that? Definitely not staying for that. Who's staying for that? I would be uncomfortable. Even if this is a film, I've worked for this my whole life and this is my dream, I'm not standing up there while you clap for 8 minutes.
Where's the exit?
That's so it's Hollywood on a level I never want to be a part of.
Each person clapping is trying to outclap the other person.
8 minutes?
Show how much they care.
At one point, don't you just look at each other like, yo, is this happening right now? We're still doing this? I'm not doing it. I'm leaving. I don't do awkward ever. And I don't do awkward conversations. I don't do awkward moments in movies, television shows. If I know an awkward moment is coming up in a movie, I will fast forward, or it's time for a bathroom break or snack break. I'm not sitting through it and enduring the anxiety of the awkwardness. Again, you guys know I don't believe in awkward people. I don't even believe in tripping. So there's no way that I'm dealing with that 8-minute standing ovation. But that said, it's supposed to be really good, so I'm excited for it. Speaking of the Joker, the new trailer for the Harley Quinn movie came out, Birds of Prey. It's a girl power movie. Margot Robbie, who is great. Rosie Perez, who many people have said that I look like and sound like, which I consider to be a huge compliment. They also say our laughs are similar. If you've heard Rosie laugh, that is supposed to be an extreme insult. I also disagree. She's the GOAT. So it looks good. I don't know what exactly to make of it because there could be some weird like undertones that I'm not entirely sure of. Yeah, you know, like the Joker and her have a weird relationship, so I could get into some weird areas. But overall, it looks good. It's like a strong woman cast, and Ewan McGregor's in it. You know, I loved him in Moulin Rouge. I did. It sounds like a joke, but he really was great. What do you mean you didn't know?
I thought it was just Missy Elliott and Lil' Kim.
Oh my God, you're so annoying. You're just like, why do you do that?
Did I name all 4 of them though? I think I named all 4 of them.
So irritating.
Speaking of irritating, I'm gonna say something. Are we okay with villain movies?
Yeah. What do you mean?
It's a little like we've.
First of all, villains are the only reason movies exist. Yeah,
but the
antagonist is what makes any piece of art, writing, movie enjoyable. Nobody wants to sit around and watch the Teletubbies all day, okay? Unless you're 2. If you're real life and you've enjoyed anything dark and night, you want to figure out why we are happy about this. What have they overcome? So yes, villains are the best. I love villains. I actually like villains more than I like the heroes. I don't know what that says about me.
But in hero movies, it's like I completely understand. But now the antagonist, to use your big words, is the protagonist. And
well, yeah, because I think that because in general, the heroes are not complicated, right? Like they don't have any general internal struggle. Like they're just pure good, which no one can relate to, which is why Superman sucks. But the villains are awesome. That's why Batman that's why Batman movies have been the best superhero movies as far as the actual movie content, because Batman is dark and conflicted. So you actually have some relatability, even though he's a billionaire that just runs around in his car.
He's rich though,
like right, but some people can relate to that. But the point is, having a complex character makes it more enjoyable, which is why these movies are awesome and why they're going to be really good, and why the Joker got an 8-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival, whatever that means. Okay, so I hate looking at his face. Tekashi Snitch 9 has apparently decided he's gonna, when he gets out from all this snitching, he's gonna do music again. That's not happening.
Where?
I don't know. Karaoke bars. I honestly don't. I don't understand this story. I don't get it, because he's not going to witness protection, right? Because where are you going like that?
And the rappers that are hating on him
You
are
have
just
6ix9ine
jealous.
all over your body. It's not like you're blending into society anymore.
Florida seems like a viable option.
Whoa, wasn't expecting that one. Totally possible.
He can live in the Everglades, am I right?
Really, yes, and no one wants to go to the Everglades.
Nope.
Yeah, that's not a bad suggestion for Snitch 9. You're not giving any music there, but not you could escape probably there. No one's going there. No one's getting on an airboat to come find you.
No.
Have you ever been on an airboat?
I have not. I want to though. Should I want to?
I don't know. So I went as a child, so I didn't have a choice. But it doesn't feel safe ever. You don't feel safe. And the gators like swim right up to you.
Well, yeah, and what's the ground
I think
and
they
what's
like
the water?
marshmallows, by the way. I'm pretty sure you feed them marshmallows.
Stop.
I think so. Like tigers, like they hate pepper, they love cinnamon. Or is that the other way around? They love pepper, they hate cinnamon.
I thought tigers like Frosted Flakes.
You're completely. Anyway, I don't know where he's gonna go.
They're great.
But moving on, we talked about him enough. I hate him. Stranger Things trailer Stranger Things 4 trailer. It's a whole lot of nothing. So it's
Yeah,
30,
it's not a trailer.
It's 30 seconds in your life you're not going to get back. And all they say is we're not in Hawkins anymore, which we knew because they were in Russia and then the family left Hawkins. So that's the whole trailer. I explained it to you. But it is exciting that there is going to be another season in like 2 years or whatever. Season 3 was great. All of Stranger Things is great. They are the greatest. They deserve all the monies, whatever they need to be paid. But yeah, so basically I guess we're going to go to the new town that the family went to, or we're going to go to Russia. So one of those things. Because we got to find out what's his name? The cop guy got picked up by the Russians. What's his name?
No, Hawkins isn't. It's
Hopper.
Hopper. Oh, man.
What a strange name.
That's my guy.
Yeah, he is. Well, you kind of look like Hopper.
Thank you so much.
You got a little Hopper action going on.
Sometimes, like if I sit at like a smaller table or something, you remember that one scene when he's waiting on the date and he's sitting at that fancy table and he just looks like a freak giant next to this table? That's how I feel sometimes.
You feel giants?
Sometimes.
When you're around children? Or
No.
when?
Sometimes things are small and I feel like a giant like Hopper.
What are you talking about? All right, I don't want to insult you, so let's move on. Kanye, they're so weird. Kanye keeps teasing us with this Jesus is King album. I don't get caught up in Kanye nonsense, so it's not affected my life in any way whatsoever. But I'm gonna listen to the album when it comes out, and I'll find out when the rest of you guys let me know, because I'm not gonna hang on every word that Kanye, or for that matter, Kim Kardashian West tells us. But I did a little scooping for you, and you might just want to wait a little bit and stop sitting by your TV or your phone waiting for that alert, because what it seems like is going to happen is he has a film that's coming out with it called Jesus is King, and that is not going to premiere until October 25th. So probably the album will come out then, and they were just like very premature with letting you know about it.
They might push it to Christmas though, right? Because that's like Jesus' birthday or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't believe in Jesus. Yeah. Well, how do you know it's Jesus' birthday?
That's why I said or whatever. To
Okay.
disrespect
So
it.
you had to throw that in there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
Yep.
You don't deserve Jesus is King. How about that?
I'm still going to get to listen to it, though.
All right. Thanks for joining us this week on the Maybe I'm Crazy podcast. Go and subscribe on YouTube at Maybe I'm Crazy Podcast, on our social media pages at Maybe I'm Crazy Pod. Myself, Joy Taylor Talks. If you want to give Heller some love, Hella_Heller.
Hey.
He thinks he's big.
Yeah.
Apparently.
I'm above average.
He's a big person, and he sits at tables. He makes a table feel small.
Airplanes are small.
Okay, so what he explained, just because that was a weird ending, he explained that he feels like awkward on airplanes.
Yeah, because every time someone walks down the aisle, even though I'm just sitting in the chair, they bump my shoulder.
Yeah, they should just make coaching airplanes a little bit bigger and make everyone else happier and better experience for everyone. Anyway, the fantasy football, we have a fantasy football league. Maybe I'm Crazy Fantasy Football League. Shout out to everyone who's in it. I'll be honest, I have 3 leagues, so I can't keep track of what I win and lose anymore. You have an update.
Same, but I looked into it, so here's what we got. Lots of parity in the MIC FFL. Only 4 teams have winning records. Shouts to ladies in Gettleman. Is it Gettleman or Gentleman?
Gentleman.
Is it Gentleman? Gettleman? What's one of those two? They're our league leader and the only remaining undefeated squad.
They deserve it with that name.
Joy, Donnie, and myself would all see our teams miss the playoffs if the season ended today. That being said, I'm in 7th place after crushing Donnie this week. Sorry, dude. I won. The winner gets to tell the story, and I destroyed you. Joy's team is also 2-2 and sitting in 8th place, so right outside of the playoffs there, but you'll get in. The game to watch in Week 5 is the league leader, ladies in Gettleman versus the 2nd place squad for Netflix and Chill.
Such good names.
Yeah. For more updates, watch football this weekend and listen to our pod next week.
Yes. Shout out to everyone who's in the league. Thank you for watching this week. Thank you to Jerry Rice for joining us, and everyone who's in studio today.
Hey.
Actually, we should introduce Shantiera. Shantiera, pass the microphone over here.
Stand by.
Sorry. So it's stuck on the corner. It's stuck on the thing right there. So Shantiera is joining us now. She will be joining us on the podcast, and she'll be also jumping on the mic with us as well. Welcome, Shantiera.
Thanks.
Tell everyone quickly a little bit about yourself.
My name's Shantiera. I'm from the Bay, so I'm a Bay Area fan, and happy to be here.
Yay! Well, we're happy to have you. You and Heller can vibe on the Bay teams, which will happen a lot during basketball season. Oh, by the way, Draymond said that they're going to be in the finals this year, so if Draymond said it, I actually think that everyone is sleeping on the Warriors, which could be a disaster for a lot of people. But I also don't think that anyone believes in the Rockets, who I might just having the finals. I don't know. Maybe. We'll get to that a little later. I'm not ready to make that prediction yet. But welcome, Sean Sierra. Jazz and Misha are in the studio as well. You just saw them. And Donnie and everyone else. John and Jeremy, for everyone. I'm Joy. Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next week.
Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not.